Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock. It's time for another video. And today we're going to talk about reactions in a close-up environment. In other words, how to get insane reactions when you're performing close-up magic. Now, there's a few things that I need to say before I start this list. It's going to be a list of 10 different things. First thing I need to say is I think it's very, very important that you get good reactions when you're performing close-up magic. I do an awful lot of filming for projects, not just my own, but other people. I'm asked to do a lot of live performances. And honestly, the thing that's going to sell a product more than anything else is the reaction from the audience, because that can't be faked. If you get somebody reacting well to a trick and the trailer shows that, people are more inclined to actually want to pick that up because they can see it's something that works in a real world environment. If you have a product come out and there's no live performances at all, you're kind of more inclined to think, well, is this going to work? So from a product development point of view, it's really important that when you bring out any trick, you're getting crazy good reactions. But as a close-up magician in general, you want to have good reactions. You know, one of the ways that a client is going to gauge how well you're doing or not doing is by how people are reacting to your performance. If you're doing a corporate gig, for example, and there's a whole bunch of tables there and you've got to get around every table and all of the tables are going, yeah, woo, that's amazing, you're going to have a more favorable attitude from the event planner than if you're walking around and everyone's going, oh yes, that's very good, well done. And in the UK, a lot of people are very reserved. You know, when I go over to America and I film with Penguin, it's so easy because you walk into a bar and people just go nuts. You know, the Americans are just very good at reacting to good magic. In the UK, we can have people that react to good magic, but you have to kind of coax them into a little bit. People sometimes can be a little bit more reserved. But it's the same with any event. You go to a wedding, you want the bride and groom to see that their guests are having a good time. It's especially important in restaurants. You go to a restaurant, that manager is going to decide whether to keep you on or not based on how his customers are reacting. If they're having a good time, if they're enjoying themselves, and he can hear that they're enjoying themselves, or she can hear that they're enjoying themselves, there's more chance that they're going to keep you on week in, week out in that residency. So hopefully I've kind of established that having the ability to go in and get a good reaction is important, because here's the thing, it's not a given. People can watch magic and they can love magic and they can really enjoy your performance without going crazy. People can watch it and go, yeah, that's really good, I really like that, that's really good, and they can mean it, but they might not react. And you really want to get that reaction, especially if you're doing your own promo reel. Imagine a magician who's got a show reel or a promo reel, and it's just a bunch of footage of people just like, you know, kind of just doing this sort of thing. It's very good. Compare that to a magician that's there at a wedding and everyone's going, oh my God! Obviously, that's a better scenario. Now, I know, and the other thing that I have to say is I'm doing this video because it's been requested, right? This is a requested video. And all I can do is tell you what I do from my point of view. Okay, I can tell you, because I pride myself on getting great reactions at every event that I do. And that's a lot of the reason why people come back and use me again. I've got event planners that have been using me for 10 years. I've got event planners, I've got company directors that have used me over and over again for years, venues that have used me for years, because they know that they're going to get a certain type of reaction when I come in. And people have said that to me. They go, oh, yeah, I'm so glad you're here. Everyone has a great time when you're performing close-up magic. So for me, getting a great reaction is important, but it's only what works for me. I know that I bought out Superimpose from through Penguin Magic recently, and people on the Magic Cafe, some people were going, well, they're not enjoying the trick because Craig was begging for reactions, because I was doing this bit in the video where I'm like, come on, if this works, I want you guys to go crazy, come on. I was like, come on. That's my style. That's how I work. Now, you might not want to be all hyped up and over the top. That's fine. That works for me. If it doesn't work for you, that's not a problem. I'm not begging people for applause by any stretch of the imagination. I kind of think of it as hyping people up, getting people super excited about the performance they're seeing. But here's the thing, this is very individual, this is very personal. The 10 points that I've sat down and thought about, they work for me, might not work for you. Take the stuff that you like, the stuff that maybe doesn't work for you, don't worry about it. But without further ado, we're going to go into 10 points, 10 things that you can do right now to get better reactions from your close-up magic. Number one, be likable. Now, this is really, really important. Be likable. Be somebody that everybody likes. You don't want to be that egotistical, standoffish, atypical magician, right? Where you kind of walk up to people and they're kind of watching you, but they're not really warming to you. You want to be the person that everybody likes, that everyone wants to chat to. And it happens right from the very beginning when you walk up to that group cold. Hey, how you doing, guys? My name's Craig. I'm not as dodgy as I look. I'm actually the magician here today. It's my job to do magic. You look excited about that, sir. Would you guys like to see some magic? Because I heard this is the fun table. Is that right? Are you guys the fun table? You bring the fun, you bring the excitement. Okay, I want to see that 100%. I'm going to show you something really cool. Go into it straight away. Be likable. Be the sort of person. We've all been there, haven't we? If you're watching like a talent show on TV, like Britain's Got Talent or America's Got Talent, you go, oh, I like that guy. You just kind of have a vibe about some people immediately when they walk out. And then there's other people that you're going to have a vibe about and you don't like them, okay? Be likable. Be that person that when they meet you for the first time, they want to like your magic. And if you don't know how to do that, read How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's probably the best book that I can recommend that's going to help you learn how to be likable. Okay, point number two, also equally as important. Perform strong magic. Now, I'm not going to tell you what's strong and what's not strong because that's subjective. There's going to be something that you take out, that you perform in your act that you love and you know that that's going to get great reactions. And that's all well and that's all good. That's fantastic. I love that 100%. But it might be something I don't like. For me, I have to perform magic that I enjoy. Perform strong magic. Perform the sort of magic that you like, that you know is going to get a great reaction. You're never going to see me perform the 21 card trick. I hate the 21 card trick. I get bored watching the 21 card trick, so I ain't going to do it. There's going to be certain particular things that I do that I consider to be really strong based off years of performing them to real people. That's the second point. That's the most important thing out of everything on this list. Perform strong magic. You know, no filler, all killer. Get rid of the filler. If there's something that you look at in your act and you go, well, that's filler. I don't really, you know, that never gets the great reaction. Well, then don't do it. You know, take it out because honestly, you should have closer after closer after closer, banger after banger after banger. That's what you need. You want to get great reactions. You want to be doing the sort of pit magic that people are kind of really reacting to. You want to be doing stuff that they're just like, oh my God, that's amazing. I can't believe that. So perform strong magic. Point number three, the third point I want to give you right now is be enthusiastic. Be enthusiastic about your own tricks. Be enthusiastic about your performance. Just be like, turn the volume up on who you are. You're not an accountant. You're not a shop worker. You are a performer. A magician is a performer. So you have to be able to perform. You have to be able to entertain. You have to be enthusiastic about what you do. If you just go, yeah, I'm going to show you something right now. It's not my favorite trick, but I think you might like it. That's not going to be as good as, guys, I'm going to show you like my signature trick right now. I don't do this for everybody. I'm going to show this to you right now. It's going to blow your mind. I guarantee you're going to love this because here's the thing. If you're having a good time, if you're enjoying what you're doing, if you're excited to see the magic that you're performing, then everybody else is going to be enthusiastic as well. It boggles the mind, but I see so many magicians that aren't enthusiastic. These are the same people that have been doing the same routines over and over again for the last 10 years. They don't look at it as a calling. They look at it as a job and they go through the motions. You can see that they've mentally checked out. They're doing that same trick that they've done a bazillion times and they have mentally checked out. They're thinking about what they're going to watch on TV tonight. They're thinking about what they're going to have for dinner. They are talking to the audience, but they couldn't give a shit about being there. Being a magician, being an entertainer is fucking amazing. We get a chance to perform for people and get paid to do our hobby. My hobby is my job. How freaking awesome is that? How many people can say that? Because I bump into a load of people and they hate their job. They hate what they do. They hate it with a passion. They are literally 9 to 5. They go out, they do the job, they watch the clock, they wait for it to end, and they go home. And their job is something they have to do instead of something that they want to do. You know what? Be the person that loves your job. You get a chance to put smiles on people's faces. And in this world, at this point, in 2024, after everything that we've been through over the last 5 years, that's probably one of the most important jobs in the world. So get enthusiastic about it and understand the privileged position that you're in. Okay, this is going to be the first controversial one. Number 4, hype up the audience. Hype up the audience. This is so important. Hype them up. Get them excited. Go look at some of my performances on my projects and see how I hype an audience up, especially when I'm performing to a big group. You know, this is the thing that people talked about on Superimpose on the trailer. Oh, Craig's a terrible performer because he asked the audience to applaud, or he was getting really excited about it. And that's not how you should perform. You shouldn't get too excited about it. Fuck you, man. You should be able to perform however you want to do it. However you want to perform should be fine to you. Just because Eugene Berger, God rest his soul, performed in a very restrained way, that doesn't mean that everyone has to copy that style. That's great for Eugene, and he became one of the biggest magicians in the world by performing that style, but that doesn't mean that style works for everybody. Don't criticize somebody because that style isn't something that's conducive with your performing character. Instead, embrace everything. I think it's very important to hype up the audience, get them excited. Hey guys, I'm about to show you the most amazing thing you've ever seen. Let's say I'm doing a 10-card multiple selection. Each card, as I go on, it's going to get more and more impressive. So on the first card, I'm like, boom, is that your card? Yes. The next card, I'm building it up, I'm getting more excited. I'm building it up. The last card, guys, there's one card left. Think about this. You guys all picked a card. I found them all one at a time in order. The last card, if I find your card, every single person is going to go crazy. Are you ready? Watch the deck. 1, 2, 3. That's when the pack completely disappears, leaving one card. What was the name of your card? That's the one. Thank you very much. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Hype up the audience. There's nothing wrong with hyping up the audience. There's nothing wrong with getting them excited for what you're seeing. It's showbiz. It's being a showman, right? It's very, very important. Okay, the next point that I want to make is routine your set to build. I've talked on this channel before about openers. I've talked about closers. I've talked about transitioning. I've talked about creating set lists. All the information to do this is on Magic TV. I'm not going to regurgitate this right now, but when you are creating a set list, when you are performing for a group of people, don't forget, it's not you wandering up to 5 or 6 people and winging it. It's you doing a performance, and that performance should be structured. It should have an opening effect that transitions logically into something that works really well as a middle effect, which transitions into something else, which transitions into a finale, and it should build. So you start off with a strong moment, but then it builds and it builds and it builds, so that by the time you've finished your performance, the excitement and the level of interest from the audience has gone up and up and up to a crescendo. And they just release all of that at the end of the act. Start looking at your performance when you're doing close-up magic as a performance. Look at it as a performance as opposed to, I don't know, I'll show you this. Now I'll show you this. Now I'll show you this. There's no transitioning. There's no hook lines. There's no structure. There's no nothing. It's just a series of tricks. That's all it is. Oh, you want to see another one? You want to see another one? You want to see another one? Have a logical, theatrical flow that begins and ends and is tight. That is the best way to get audiences to build up, because you're taking them on a journey from X to Z. And as you go through that journey, you're building their attention, you're building their interest, and then they release it at the very end. Okay, next point, and I kind of touched on this earlier on, but I'm going to make a specific point about this. Don't be afraid or don't forget to reframe the performance to the audience. So what I mean by that, when I talk about reframing, it's like kind of summing everything up. If you've got a big finale, let's say you're doing the Destination box by John Allen. So at the beginning, you give the box out to somebody on the table. You say, hold on to that box. You've done something, you've done something, you've done something. They've signed a card. That's lost in the pack. The card has now vanished. At that point, that's a great moment. You know that you're about to go into your finale. The card is going to be folded up inside the box, that they've been holding for the beginning. Reframe that moment. Say, now your card's vanished, but think about this for a minute. Think about this for a second. You signed that card. That makes that card unique to you. You lost the card in the pack. You shuffled the cards. I went nowhere near them. And before that, right at the very beginning, when I walked over to the table, I gave you something and gave you a box. You've been holding onto that box the whole time. That box is padlocked. I've gone nowhere near it. Now, here's the thing. I gave you a key. Take the key, open up the box, pass me the box. Inside, you'll see a silver box and you'll see a little vial containing nothing. Hold your hand out for me. We're going to have one of these. If you have the silver box, you get to keep what's inside as a magical souvenir. If you want the vial, you know, blah, 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 whatever you're going to say. So they get the silver box and you say, now think about this. That silver box was inside that wooden box, which was locked all the way from the keys, which were over there from the beginning of the act, and you shuffled your card into the pack and now it's vanished. You're not going to believe this. Press the button on the side of the box. What's in there? Folded up card. Guys, don't get ahead of me. If that's the card with your signature on, every single person here will give a big round of applause for you and me. Mainly me, but also you. This is going to be incredible. Open the box, take out the card, unfold the card. Is that your card? Yes, it is. Give them a big, massive round of applause. So you're reframing it, you're summing up what's happened, and you're getting more and more excited about it. You're enthusiastic, you're hyping up the audience, you're reframing everything, and you're building up to this one massive crescendo. Okay, next important point I've got down here, understand your performing character and that different magic equals different reactions. So what I mean by that is if you're a mentalist and you're doing mentalism and you're having people write stuff on pieces of paper and then you're revealing that information in a very mysterious way, it might be harder to get the reactions that you want compared to someone who's doing visual sleight of hand and having things vanish or disappear. It's not impossible. Exhibit A, Matt Cluley, Matt who works in this office. He does now pretty much exclusively mentalism. And he'll have someone shake up a die and look at the die and he'll get them all to go nuts when he tells them the number. But the reason for that is because Matt is a performer. He understands that that little dice or that little die is just one element of what he's doing for the audience. And there's lots of other elements that make up this performance as well. And the performance is the thing that people are going to react to. So you have to sometimes try harder, or you have to think about performance more depending on your performing character. Because if you have a performing character and you have a type of magic that you do, then that needs to be taken into consideration, and that will adapt how you approach a performance, if that kind of makes sense. It's really important that when you're thinking about how to get good reactions, you think about the type of magic that you perform, and you think about who you are and what your performing character is as well. Okay, so next point is understand your performing environment. Now, what I mean by understand your performing environment is depending on where you're performing might dictate how you approach this or how energetic your performances go. So, for example, if you're in a bar, for example, or you're in a corporate event where everyone's talking really loud, you can get really excited and you can get really hyped up, and that's not a problem. If you're working in a little restaurant, like I had a residency once in a Chinese restaurant, and it was all very quiet and beautiful, quiet Chinese music. If I went up to a table and went, "Hey, my name's Craig, I'm the magician, I'm going to be doing some magic for you right now," it would just not be appropriate. Now, there's ways of getting those reactions without having to go too full on. You can still follow a lot of the advice I've given given you, but it's really important to understand that different performing environments will dictate how you approach the performance and therefore the reactions that you get, if that kind of makes sense. And you have to bear that in mind, you know. The way that I approach getting insane reactions in a walk around situation is completely different to if I was doing a stage show. It's completely different to if I was doing banquet. All of this stuff is very, very different. So what you need to do is you seriously need to think through your performing environment, and you need to make sure that what you're doing is conducive to that environment, whilst at the same time generating everything that you need to get the reactions that you want. Okay, so 2 more points. Point number 9, don't be afraid to react to your own magic. Now, this is something I do all of the time, and I think this is a super cool thing to do. But again, it might not be for you. I'm only giving you the advice that I like to follow. I react to my own magic. So if I'm having a coin jump from here to here and the first coin vanishes and I show it's gone and it's appeared in their hand, they're freaking out. I'm freaking out as well. I'm like, oh my God, did you see that? The coin jumped from there to there. So you didn't miss that, did you? I mean, that's one of the most insane things I've ever seen. Let's do it again. How many are here? How many's here? Boom. That's the next one. Tips of the fingers, sir. Did you see that? I mean, I don't understand how this works and I've seen it before. It's freaking me out. So I don't know how you guys are thinking. Like, don't be afraid to react to your own magic, because if you find it impressive, they will find it impressive as well. It's as simple as that. You need to be able to, or at least in my opinion, you need to be able to react to your own performances. Not in a, oh my God, I just made the coin disappear. How did I do that? That freaked me out. Somebody help me. Not like that. Kind of more of a, you know, like, oh my God, the coin, did you see the coin go? I don't even get this either. This is crazy, right? Can you follow this? I don't follow this. That kind of thing. I find that's a really great way to build interest up for the audience and get them really kind of interested in what you're doing. Okay, so the final point is probably going to be the one that's the most controversial, because I know a few people disagree with this, and this is absolutely fine. And again, I point to the fact that this is only my opinion, but ask for applause. Now, I'm not saying that you beg people for applause, like, please, will you give me a big round of applause for this trick, because I really need it, because I want the audience to know that I'm doing a good job. I want the client to know I'm doing a really good job. Please, can you clap really loud? That would really help me out. I'm not talking like that, but stuff like, hey, like at the end of the routine, it's like, right, okay, so that cup has been here the whole time. If your £10 note is inside that cup, would that be crazy? Would that be good enough to get a big round of applause? Let's have a look. Look underneath there, there's a £10 note. You unfold it. Look at that. That's the £10 note with your name on it. That's your name, right, sir? Go crazy. And that's what some people took exception to on the Superimpose trailer, that I was there going, guys, think about this. If those cards are back underneath her finger, how good would that be? That'd be amazing, right? That'd be good enough to get a big round of applause. Okay, let's have a look. I can't look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Oh my God, that's amazing. Go nuts. Come on, go nuts. You know, I have no problem asking for applause in the right environment. Again, it goes back to a lot of the other points I was saying. Got to be the right environment. Got to be the right sort of people. Got to be the right sort of group. But in the right sort of environment, right sort of group, and with Superimpose, I was in a nightclub bar, an outside bar, then there's absolutely no problem doing that. It is going to build the audience up. Now, you don't need to do it, as you saw from Superimpose. People are already going, oh my God, that's amazing. So I don't need to do it, but it is going to increase the reactions. It is going to get people excited, especially over here in the UK, where people are more reserved. Don't be afraid to go down that route. Don't be afraid to be the guy that's super excited. Don't be afraid to be the guy that's asking for applause. Now, you know, I'm not saying that you do this. I've seen magicians do this, where they go into a corporate event and there's like 10 tables and they go, hey, I'm having a competition with that magician over there to see how loud my table is versus his. So do me a favor, will you cheer really loud to show him how good I am? I don't think that's the right thing to do personally. But again, I've seen people do it and it works for them. So that's absolutely fine. And that's the thing that you need to know about advice. It's personal. But from my point of view, I'm not too keen on that. But just saying to people in the context of the presentation, hey, if this works, I want you guys to go crazy. There's absolutely no problem with that whatsoever. So there you go, guys. That is another video in the bag. 10 things that you can do to maximize your reactions at your next close-up gig. Now, do me a favor. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. Are there things that I've talked about that you do, or are there things that I've missed? Let me know in the comments down below. You want to see more videos like this? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. That's important. And if you haven't already joined the Netrix, please do so. It's www.thenetrix.com. You can go check it out and see what all the fuss is about. But I will see you again soon. Thanks for watching. My name's Craig, and this is Magic TV.